Hi there. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone here on YouTube for the very kind and encouraging comments left regarding my video for my mother. As I mentioned, my brothers and I have been doing all of the necessary stuff to arrange for her assets and her home, and I'm also glad to say we've all been getting along great in this situation. Some families get into fights over who gets what when a family member passes on, but we didn't have any of that in this situation. However, that did mean I ended up inheriting, what else? The family cast iron. Most of these cast iron pieces I inherited from Mom were items I'd given her and Dad over the past 10 years, and for some of it, there isn't a lot of sentimental value. There are a few items that do mean a lot, and I'm certainly never going to get rid of these pieces. The most important would be a Griswold square egg pan, which I gave to Mom as a present, especially in remembrance of her mom, my grandmother. Now, this has been returned to me, and I'll be keeping this as a keepsake in memory of Mom. Some of the items in this collection are seasoned and as good as new, and I'm not even sure if Mom ever used them, such as this Lodge 8-inch skillet or this unmarked Wagner No. 7. But one item she definitely used a lot was this cast iron wok. I bought this one myself and I gave it to Mom as a present after I showed her my Lodge cast iron wok and she enjoyed it. And she did indeed use this wok a number of times, so that means I need to clean it up and make it ready for cooking. This will also be an excuse to clean up a few more items that have been soaking in the lye tank since last fall when I dropped them in and left them in there all winter.
However, I didn't expect this huge barrel to be filled with water all the way to the top. Evidently, it wasn't as watertight as I'd thought. We simply drop in the wok and let it soak.
Seasoning's coming right off. Lodge chef skillet and Lodge skillet lid. BSR cast iron saucepan.
And now to clean up these pans. These had been soaking in the lye tank for a few months, and all we need to clean these off is ordinary dish soap. The lye had almost completely dissolved the seasoning, but the pans themselves were unharmed.
Just ordinary dish soap. Actually does a pretty good job in removing very quick and easy surface rust.
And after drying them off, we coat them with Crisco to keep them from rusting before we season them.
And finally, the wok.
This wok had only been in the lye for a couple of days, so we had to use something a little stronger. For this, we bring out my favorite cast iron rust remover, Barkeeper's Friend.
Still a little bit of seasoning residue on one side, but that's alright. It's good enough, especially since I know where it came from. I bought it for them brand new.
And we dry it off with paper towels.
Funny, all these people saying all these bad things about Lodge, yet here they are trying to imitate them.
And then we apply a coat of Crisco to every inch of the surface.
There we are. Good enough to season in the oven.
Now we heat the pans to just over 200 degrees. Then we wipe off the excess oil and apply some of my favorite cast iron seasoning.
Interesting divot in the side of this cooking surface here.
This is Crisbee seasoning, and that's a combination of Crisco and beeswax, but you can really use any oil for seasoning cast iron. We wipe the oil over every inch of the surface, then wipe off the excess oil so it isn't too thick. All it needs is a thin coating of seasoning, so it seasons the pan evenly and it won't leave darker spots where the oil is thicker.
Now for the BSR saucepan.
And we apply enough of the seasoning to coat all 4 pans.
And the Lodge chef skillet. Yes, this is a Lodge. If this seems more smooth than your typical modern day Lodge, well, that's because I will confess this is actually a polished Lodge skillet. I didn't do it. It was polished by a member of the cast iron community whose name will remain anonymous because I'm not interested in causing trouble. Anyway, he presented it to me as a present, and I was very grateful for that. I used it quite a bit until I acquired the Blacklock skillet to use as a chef skillet. And no, I prefer the Blacklock. Finally, the skillet lid.
And now we heat up the pans to 300 degrees and we wipe them down again.
And at 300, we wipe the pans again, or at least wipe the smooth ones. That would be the BSR pan and the Lodge chef skillet. Again, the rough surface probably doesn't have to be wiped down.
And finally, we heat the pans to 400 degrees and let the seasoning bake on for 2 hours.
Let these cool off all night. And here we are. The wok is now clean and ready for use. I think that divot here gives it character. And here is the BSR saucepan. Looks nice. Looking forward to using this again. And the Lodge chef skillet. And the skillet lid. Well, now that this wok is ready, I'd say the next thing to do would be to break it in by cooking Mom's favorite dish, and that would be chicken. And so Mom's cast iron pieces have been cleaned up, and I need to figure out just what to do with all of this extra cast iron. Even though my family and friends have already told me not to give them any more cast iron, I'll be finding ways to take care of these extra pieces. But simply restoring and cleaning cast iron is a hobby in itself, and it's a lot of fun to see the results when a pan is transformed from a rusty piece of junk into something that will be cooking for many years to come. That makes the effort of restoring these pans worthwhile, and with at least a few of these, I've inherited some memories of my mom that I'll always cherish. I'm glad these pieces are ready to be passed on, and I enjoyed doing this. And I hope you enjoyed watching this, and hopefully it offered some tips on cleaning up your cast iron that you can use. Thank you for watching.